What's going on, people? It's day 16. Hustler University, the path to a six-figure business. Check it. What we're going to talk about is something that involves a little violence. That's right, violence. Because violence is what makes the world go around. Let's jump into it. Stacking your flow. I want you to imagine your business is a gun. Now, for all you people who are sensitive about guns, there will be no bunnies or anything killed in this. But think of what a gun is. It's a resource. And it's a resource that contains anywhere, if it's a revolver, 6 resources. If it's a semi automatic pistol, 9 to 13 resources. Or if it's a machine gun, a few hundred or maybe even a few thousand rounds, depending upon the design. So, what does this have to do with making money? Trust me, I'm going to put it all together for you. Because just like a gun, your business has a limited amount of resources. But understand, guns are very powerful. They're very, very powerful. And with your business being a weapon, a gun, many people have this weapon and they're not aiming high, they're aiming low. And what I mean by that is, let's just take reselling. That's how I came to you. And it's really starting to shift from that. But you'll have many people buying products they can't sell, trying to sell items they don't have experience about, trying to actually move things just because they're trendy. If you load your gun with the right bullets and you aim at the right targets, you're going to have a greater level of success. I think everyone would agree. Nod your head because everyone's nodding in the audience. Most people do the opposite. They go out and they have a machete, or they will have a sling blade, or they will literally bring a knife to a gunfight. Essentially, the message I'm trying to convey to you is, you have to treat your business as a weapon and aim it at the right targets, because you only have so many bullets. Now understand, if you want to have a proper kill shot, it just takes one bullet, because you studied the range. You know what the trajectory is, and you take that shot, you hit it, it blows up. That's success. Now this is the same thing that happens when you have a product or sell. You look at your target, which is your customer. I will give you a wonderful example of this. And it exists in one of my other businesses of writing. Writers are strange people. And what happens with most writers, and I'm going to say most, is they write a book and they become butthurt if the marketplace doesn't say, bravo, bravo, bravo. And the thing is, I did something that was smarter than smart on my first book. I wrote my book to fulfill a need. It was not the first book I wanted to write. It wasn't the second one. It wasn't the third. It wasn't even in the top 10. But hustler mindset, being in the resale business, I knew that it's easier to sell something to someone who actually wants it. This is the target. This is the bullet. If you have the proper bullet for the proper target, it's an easier shot. But say, using the weapon metaphor, you have a shotgun, 10 gauge shells, but your target is 2,000 feet downrange. You have the wrong weapon. Yes, the shotgun is powerful. The 10 gauge shells will literally blow a hole in the door, or will shoot through a wooden door. They'll take someone's heart out at close range. It's the wrong weapon for the task at hand. That's what many people do with their businesses. Like, YouTube is a wonderful utility. It's an awesome resource, and people see other resellers on YouTube, but they don't really look at some very important things. Like, number one, how long has this person been selling on eBay or selling on Amazon? That's the difference. It's like when you go check someone's feedback and then you go to their completed items list, you'll see some people who will sell, you'll see one seller sell a Mac, and you'll see someone else sells the exact same Mac, but there's a 50 to sometimes $200 differential, and you're like, what the deal? But when you go in and you say, oh, this guy's been selling Macs for 10 years with great feedback, this other guy's brand new. So there's not that level of trust there. But once again, gun, bullet, targets. When you are properly shooting at the right targets, even if you're new, you're going to have greater success than having the wrong tools for the job in hand. A lot of resellers are going out and buying this stuff and then they're putting it in the marketplace and they're wondering why it doesn't sell. Right now at the apparel mart, there's cash and carry this week. Stuff's going dirt cheap. But Resellology is not yet ready for that stuff. So I'm going to have to pass it up. I want to go. I know there's deals, but I haven't developed the customer base for that stuff yet. Now it's going to happen again right before Christmas. So I'll get a really good shot at it again. And there's always deals down there. But that's one of the things. Like if you've noticed, I am really changing stuff in the Hustler Mindset Project. And some people are like, hey, I want this, I want this. I'm doing what's right for most people versus what's right for a few people. That's a lesson I had to learn because I tried to be all things to many people, and people were like pissed. It was like, oh, well, I want this and I want the stories. And once again, I created a new gun because I'm a hustler mindset. I'm a producer. I manufacture my own guns. I created new bullets, and I went out and I found better targets. That's one of the reasons you don't see me talking about the books and stuff in the YouTube videos. I will tell you exactly what I'm doing. How people are coming into the hustler mindset is at the end of the really long videos, I have what I call Easter eggs. And that's how I'm bringing people in because they're self-qualifying that they belong in the hustler mindset. Because if they can watch a 40-minute video on YouTube, then they're going to love the stuff that's here. But that's the gun, that's the ammo, and that's the targets. What I was doing worked to a degree, but in this social media world we have where people honestly expect the best of the best for little or nothing and will raise holy hell if they don't get it. So this is, as I will jump into later, this is problem solving. Now, for your business, whatever it may be, whether it's resell, whether it's a service, whether you're washing poodles, you have to have targets for your business. And this is where eBay, Amazon, and Etsy kind of mess people up because they're this platform. So you slap your stuff on the platform, and because the platform has a large customer base or a lot of eyeballs, then stuff moves. When I was in the world of sales, we used to call those people farmers. They had some crops, and when people would drive by, they would see, oh, there's some tomatoes. There's some corn. Oh, this guy's got an apple orchard. And they drive by, and they would see it, and their mouth would get all wet with saliva because they want to taste that juice. And they'll go out and buy some. We call those guys farmers. People that would be in the office and wait until someone drove by, came by to buy products. Then the other group of us were called hunters. We went ahead, put on the lion's cloth, got the spear, got the club, got the bow and arrow, and we went across the land looking for our targets. Because most companies look for hunters because the farmers are great if you have... Now, both methods work, but hunters typically produce way more business. Because the thing is, with the companies that have farmers, they must have some type of robust marketing mechanism in place. So they have something for the farmers to work with. Because if they don't have that, the farmers are not going to make any money. Now, the hunters, it doesn't matter. I will tell you, I had to find my own leads. I had to network with my own networking groups. There was so many things I had to do, but the commission was worth it. Now, with targets, now let's talk about ammo. There's live ammo, there's tracers, there's bullet rounds. Now, what's live ammo in your business? Live ammo is your best stuff. You see it in the resale business frequently. People take their best stuff and sell it for cheap and then try to move the junk for whatever. And part of this is once they don't have a business plan. They're selling their best stuff cheap because they haven't said, what's the best target for this item? Everything doesn't belong on eBay. Everything doesn't belong on Amazon. Everything doesn't belong on Etsy. There's a lot of items that you will do better in your local town than on eBay and Amazon. Furniture, appliances, art, and really expensive stuff. There's a lot of stuff. eBay's great for a lot of things, but you can get the same coin if you've developed a sales channel. Now, tracers. Now, tracers are you create. Now, this is something I get to do because I create my own ammo. I'll create something just to see what the response is going to be. You'll see me putting out all types of crazy stuff. It's like, hey, there's the special offer. There's this. All that's testing. Those are tracers. I'm just like shooting it down range, seeing how far it goes, and see what illuminates. A lot of times, nothing happens. People are going, ooh, that offer stinks, man. I don't want it. The price is too high. It doesn't include enough Jews. There's something wrong with it, and it's my job as a internet marketer to figure out what's wrong with it. So I'm always testing. I will say the new way that I'm doing things is bringing in a better group of people. It's slower, but it's more steady. It's more, the people are more robust, and they're already self-qualified. Now, with your ammo, your best stuff, your best services, your best pitch, those are limited. Now, you can get a bunch of tracers or practice rounds or reloaded ammo all over the place for cheap, but your best stuff you have to be careful with, but your best stuff is what gets people in the door. So how do you handle that? First of all, you have alternative weapons. Like, say give you an example, and this is something that I did all the time when I had the retail spot. I would put some on Craigslist, and I had to have that item because I know people just hate it when you got this item for like this really great price, right? And then they go there and it doesn't exist. When I recently was shopping for my car that was endemic, it was like every time I was like, okay, this is stupid. So I would go out and I would get a sacred cow, something. And now the thing is, the sacred cow was a sacred cow, but it was also ammo. It was something that I would sacrifice, or what larger corporations call loss leaders, something that I would either take a loss on or just break even to get people in the door. But it had a Trojan horse in it because they would come in and they would see it and they were like, wow, it's still here and that's the price? Yeah. And then they would buy it. Then I was like, God, there's other people that wanted this. Probably someone right? Because this is ammo that I can get again and again and again. I would get their name and their number. This takes practice because a lot of people feel like you're being a burden. You feel like that you're not being really cool to these people. When really, when you become a resource and a problem solver and you help people with situations, it is not a burden. They will come to love you. And I was like, hey, this is the deal. Would you do me this favor? Give me the names, phone numbers, email addresses of 5 of your closest friends. And 50% of the time, they was like, I don't really feel comfortable about that. Like 50% of the time, they was like, I don't know. But 50% of the time, they was like, sure. Then I would get on the phone and I was like, hey, your friend Bob and his lovely wife Susie just bought this sofa and they thought that I had some stuff that you might like. Would you please come by my store or warehouse? Now that's what's called a warm lead or referral because, okay, Bob and Susie have qualified me. So the big trust thing is out the window. And then I would send them some snazzy stuff because this was another way. And that was a Trojan horse because I was not giving it away. I was using it to lure them into the pasture so I can get into their sandboxes. Because this is the thing, and this is the hustler mindset, and this is really tried and true proven business tactics. Because a lot of people do not want to talk to people. They don't want to ask this stuff, but I'm telling you, I'm going to do it for Reselology on my Facebook page. And when they get the Reselology tab going, you will see it. You will get better business. You will get much better business. And the thing is, everything that I do, I try to build on a reoccurring revenue model because it is so hard going out and getting new business all the time. So you want to have regular customers. And I know you're going, well, hey, I'm a reseller and I get stuff that's different. So how can I have regular customers? You find out what your customer base likes and you go out and buy that stuff. You find something that you can get on the regular. I don't care if it's donuts. I don't care if it's rubber ducks. I don't care if it's pom poms. There is something out there that you can buy that you can sell to the people that you know on a reoccurring basis. And the thing is, this is the beauty. You can sell it cheap and make them happy, but that's not the end. It is a way to get into their sandbox. It's a way to constantly have contact with them so you can push your other stuff. The biggest part of your business is logistics, not buying and selling. I will repeat that once again. The biggest part of your business is logistics, not buying and selling. Buying and selling is fun because it's an immediate gratification type deal. Oh, I bought something cheap and I sold it high. That's better than crack. And it's a high and it happens. But if you hammer your logistics, your sales channels, your infrastructure, your customer acquisition, you hammer that, the buying and selling will take care of itself. And many people become seduced by that. And I'm telling you, it hit me hard because, you're out there, you're spending money, you're buying stuff, you're getting new stuff all the time. And then when you sell it, those greenbacks cross your palm or that credit card slides through your merchant. It's just like, ooh, that's so sweet. But the real business is the logistics, putting it all together. And this is the thing. And, if you don't believe me, how many of you who are resellers doing eBay, storage auctions, whatnot, became overwhelmed within weeks of getting in the business because you had so much stuff? You were able to go out and buy it really easy and quick. You could get stuff for free. That's why the first section of Hustler University was about that stuff, just to show you how easy it is to get stuff. The second half of Hustler University is about building networks, selling, and moving product. Because buying is easy. Gaining merchandise is easy. Selling, that's the tricky part. And this is something else. People don't have some type of clearance program in their business. We had so much stuff. Every month we had to do it. We had to do it. I put up a video the other day on... Because the thing is, just so you know, I pre-record a lot of videos now and have them set to go off on the schedule. So when I reference a video, I could have did a week or two ago. So just because it launched recently, it could have been in the queue for a minute. But I did a video on, what would happen on free day. Because, there's more stories about that. And, the chick I slapped on the ass, and that's a true story. I do stuff like that. I know I'm crazy. But we did that every month because we had to. Free day, markdowns, we had to because cash has to keep moving. It has to keep moving. The minute it stops, you're in trouble because the other stuff doesn't stop. Your rent doesn't stop. Your employee salaries, none of that stuff stops. The fees, all that stuff keeps moving. So your cash has got to keep moving with it. But when you are really looking at your business differently, and this is something you should realize. You're not a reseller, you're a problem solver. Everything that you do should be oriented around solving problems. Not buying and selling. Buying and selling is part of solving problems. And the more problems you solve, the greater your impact. The greater your impact, the more money you make. Because in Lead the Field, Earl Nightingale talks about this. The more people you serve, the more money you make. It's true. It is very, very true. I've taken a different path with Hustler University because this is something new. This isn't like anything else I've ever taken, and I'm building it. So it's beta. It's beta. And so understand there's going to be some trials, tribulations, and issues, and people are going to be like, hey, I don't like that, and I don't like that, and they're going to leave, and people are going to come. So once I get this all worked out, then I will really push it, but it's still in the process of being built. And whenever I get to that point where it's like where I want it to be, then you'll see me marketing it much heavier and more overtly versus doing it ninja style with the offers at the end of the videos, because that's a problem. I'll give you an example. When I came on YouTube in 2009, there were a handful of reseller type people, maybe 30 or 50. And for the internet, that's subatomic. I mean, seriously, there was 30 or 50 people total on YouTube, because I looked for them all. I put in storage auction, garage. It was just, seriously, microscopic numbers. Dan Dotson had storage auction videos up there. He had a few. Terminal 99. It was just a handful of guys. Okay, here it is 2013. Every week there's someone coming up doing a haul video, or I'm selling on eBay, and you have people who have anywhere from 2 weeks to maybe a year experience schooling people. So YouTube has become extremely crowded in that niche. And I'm the one, and I'm the guy that's selling stuff, and I'm the guy on the green horse, the cash horse. So everyone's like, we're going to knock him down. We're going to knock him down. We're going to talk about Glendon. We're going to say this stuff. There's been so many hangouts devoted to me, it ain't funny. And it's caused problems because when people enter into the YouTube world, they enter in a video. And most folks don't realize or don't care to go through the back catalog of other videos. I have 600, damn near 700 videos. A lot of them are private, and they're not looking at this. There's a few people that come into the Gverse and they'll see a video and they'll just see, wow, there's all a bunch, and they'll just go through them and I'll see the comments. But the average person just comes in at one and starts watching the new stuff. So to combat that, I had to solve a problem versus me keep doing the same thing. Like I will tell you, doing videos with long intros, you're going to lose 50% of the people who come unless they just really like you. Just so many things. Like I put multiple ads on, but I go back and add, like if a video is 40 minutes, I can put 4 ads on it. I stop putting 4 ads on stuff immediately. I'll wait 3, 4, 5 days, let the people who really care that are subscribed and going to watch, I'll let them watch, and they'll just have the first ad, and then I'll put, it's constant problem solving. But YouTube has changed, and I can't go, YouTube used to be like this and it was no, that's not going to work. I have to say, okay, YouTube's like this, so what can I do to make the best of it? Constant problem solving. That's what you have to be. That's your frame of mind. That's where you have to be. Not where you need to be, but where you have to be. Now, I want you to see your business, whatever it is, as a new thing. Not just numbers, a thing that can grow. I want you to see it as, what can this business do that serves a lot of people very well? Start asking yourself that question, because so many people come to me when I spend a day answering questions that are like, what can I do to earn $5,000 a month? What can I do to earn 10? And with little regard to the product, service, or people. It's just they want the cash. Cash is a byproduct of service. I had many people buy my 3-book deal at $99 just as a thank you for the information I gave away for free on YouTube. And it went on for a long time. But when the new crew came to YouTube, people started watching my videos, taking my information and putting it out as if it was their own. That created a problem. Why would you pay Glendon any money for information when reseller A or reseller B or reseller C has put out that information and you really don't know the original source and you don't care? No one's going to come to YouTube and go, I need to know who put that out first so I can give them people don't have time for that, nor they have the inclination. So it's my job to make sure that I do things to get myself out there. And that's your job. For my business to grow where I want it to grow, I'm going to have to say, okay, what can I do to serve more? I have to ask myself these questions. And I'm working on installing a culture of problem solving, because I have a problem where I need an assistant. But the thing is, there's no one I can hire that's going to come in and hit the ground running, because what I do is so different and weird. So I'm realized I have to train. But I am looking for an assistant now for the fall. This is May. I've got June, July, August to train. I'm part-time, get them trained, and then we can just rock out in the fall. And it's like, okay, bam, that took a lot of pressure off me, because I was thinking, how can I get someone in here who can make an immediate impact? And it was just stressing the hell out of me. And I was just like, it's not going to happen. You're going to have to approach it from a more pragmatic way. Now, this is something that you should ask yourself. And I'm going to share some stuff with you. What area of your business produces the most revenue? Have you ever asked yourself that? Because if you really ask yourself that and you go through your business and you start looking at numbers, what produces the most revenue for you might shock you. Then you have to ask yourself, why does it produce the revenue? What do you do best? You need to find that stuff out, because one of the reasons that I went strictly audio was 90% of my leads were coming from YouTube. They weren't coming from the blog. They weren't coming from Google. They weren't coming from Facebook. They were coming from YouTube. And I was like, okay, so I did correlation studies. I started cranking out a bunch of videos. My sales went up. Direct correlation. It's hard, and sometimes it's even, I can see which video does the best. I played around with the blogs. And also, don't be afraid to change up your thing, because if you have a blog, and understand, you're going to get more traffic from networking than you are just writing the great content. Great content is just a admission to the party. Everyone has great content. So you got to look at it, and it's like, wow. And that's the reason I just hammered YouTube. And because I hammered YouTube, and because I told people that YouTube was doing it for me, other people like trying to do what I'm doing, but they don't realize YouTube has changed. And the things that I did just a year ago that worked are not working anymore because YouTube has changed. But hands down, YouTube is still my biggest lead generator for Conundrum Media and Conundrum Publishing. YouTube will not be the biggest lead generator for Reselology. Different product mix, different group of people. But once you start knowing this stuff, then you make better decisions for your business. Another real relevant question. What is the best use of your time? Remember earlier in this webinar, I was telling you there's all this stuff that's going on at the Paramart, and I want to be down there. But metrically, and based on my business plan, based on the information I have that's really good information, it makes no sense for me to be down there buying stuff that my business is not ready for. It's just like I can get killer deals, but my business is not ready for it. It's not. Then what is the worst use of your time? One of the reasons that I pull back from the blog. Some of the new stuff that I'm going to do is going to be totally different than what I did in the past, because building a blog, putting content up there, you had to do it. But guess what? There's new tools out there. I'm going to try to do this thing with Tumblr. And this is me experimenting. If it works, great. If it doesn't, I'll get new experiences. But the plan is to use Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr. And for Reselology, I may not even do a website, because of the new tools out there. There's this company called Ribbon, and with WePay, I can just put something on Tumblr and have a link, and they can leave that link and go buy from me without me actually having the website. Will this happen? I'm going to find out, because that's the plan. Because then that right there totally changed the game. Instead of how you can have like a pop-up store, you can have a pop-up website. Hey, I've got like 500 items. I got 500 lawnmowers. They're going for $50 a piece. Bam, put it up. You can have that up in like 10 minutes with a pay link. Next thing you know, what's going on right now is awesome. But I'm willing to change with times versus wishing things were the way they used to be. Because one thing about the internet is when you become really good with a certain thing, the conditions change. It's like, oh man, I just got this and now it's changed. It's frustrating, but you have to roll with it. Now, this is something that's going to sound a little pathological, but it's true. What part of your business needs to be choked to death? I don't care what you're doing. There's some part of your business that needs to die. There's some part of your business you need to take a gun, put it to his head, and go and kill it, because it's not producing revenue. It is sucking up a resource, a very important resource, your time. It has to go. Now, what has gone in my business? Print books and ebooks. Now, right now, there are people making $100,000 a month from ebooks, but they're romance writers or mystery writers. And, understand, I got rid of that based on a lot of metrics. How did people find my books? YouTube. So I did the marketing, and then they went to Amazon, where not only did Amazon take a hefty cut, and I'm not mad at Amazon. Amazon built their economy, which is something I preach and advocate. But I didn't like the cut because I wrote the book. I was working, I was doing a lot, and that was a big cut. And the thing is, the sales were not that robust. Without the more marketing I did, the greater the sales. Another thing that happened, the resale book community is very small. So when I had a lot of sales, other people had a lot of sales, because the way Amazon ecosystem works is when it'll go, this person bought this book also. So there was other people that were seriously benefiting from my marketing efforts. And I have proof, because on each book there's a rank. And when I stopped marketing and I pulled back, everybody's rank went up. It was crazy, because these other people were not marketing. So I was like everybody's hoe. Marketing hoe, that is. But once again, that's paying attention to the numbers, digging into the data. And it's like, okay, so if I do that and I use this YouTube channel, I lift the ties of many people, and some of these people hate my ass. That's a problem. What can we do? What can we do? Then I saw in YouTube comments, people who bought my books, who I know they were asking questions that were covered in the book, which is a problem. I said, okay, I got this book with information in, and people are not getting the information. Did I write it bad, or they're not reading the book? Then boom, here we go to audiobooks. Audiobooks are the future. Books are going to be like the holodeck at some point. You're going to buy a book, and there's going to be characters and plays, and they're going to do all that stuff on your desktop or wherever, in the air, wherever it's coming. So I'm like really way ahead of that curve. But when I bring my other stuff online, I will be really experienced in producing audiobooks. That's one of the reasons that I slowed down the production, because there's things I need to do. I need to create another studio. There's so many things I need to do, but audiobooks and video, I'm going to rock it out, because one, it's easier for you to get it. And if you don't get it the first time, you hit the rewind button, versus flipping pages and marking and creating index cards and stuff like I used to study. You don't have to do that. I am currently listening to So Good They Can't Ignore You, and it's an awesome book. And I've like listened to it like 4 times already, because I'm always doing stuff, but I can get that in, and that's what I want you to do. So you got to ask yourself these questions, and you have to really, really knock it out of the ballpark. And we're back to the task. I want you to answer these questions. What part of your business produces the most revenue, and why? Once you figure it out, increase that activity to the power of 10. Now let's think about that. If it's producing revenue and you figure out the why and you can replicate it, you can make a lot more money, because one of the things that I've come to know from consulting is many people are doing 90% sometimes of things that do not produce revenue. They're doing this, they're doing that. If you just sit and hammer on the tasks that are producing revenue, you might make more money in a month than you did last year. It's scary simple, but it's true. All right, this is Glendon. We'll see you on the good side.